Hello!
Hello!
And welcome back to the Ginger Games board.
Hiya, this is Debbie.
And this is Chris. As I mentioned in the news, there's a new version of Cluedo out, so we thought we'd talk about that today.
This not about a new version of Cluedo, is that there's always different interpretations of Cluedo. It's just, which one are we going to be talking about today? Well,
Let's go get the...
let's go and grab it. Okay, so I'm just going to open up the box. So, that's the styling of the box.
Well,
Do you remember when it was a bit more, like, squarer in shape, not this, like, rectangular sort of thing going on?
Yeah, well, let's see. Build is the classic mystery game, but they definitely did... they definitely sort of brought it a little more up to date, I think.
I think it's about the fact that everyone there is young, or at least everyone in the pictures there, they're under the age of 30, and she looks like Cheryl Cole. She does.
Just a bit, I suppose.
Now, there's one thing that, okay, for those that haven't played Cluedo, the aim is that you get to divvy up these cards, you go into different rooms, and you try and figure out who murdered Mr. Body or Dr. Black, or actually, what is the guy's name?
Now, I mentioned this in the news. Basically, they sort of retconned it, so his name is what was it?
There you go. Tonight, Samuel Black, an infamously recluse millionaire, invited 6 of his guests to his mansion. Why does this sound like a very bad horror film?
Because it was made in a film.
Possibly. Its purpose? To reveal a startling truth. Each of the 6 is destined to serve a Cluedo house to protect the world's greatest secrets. Before Black could reveal anything, he was murdered. Only the 6 guests were in the house at the same time. It's up to you to solve the murder. Meet the murder suspects. It actually tells you, like, who's who. And like I said, every single person there is under the age of 30. That's absolutely mental.
It's one fact that they got names. So obviously, in the original version, you had each of them had titles. So you had Mrs. Peacock, Miss Scarlet, Reverend Green, Professor Plum, and
they all had ages to
Colonel Mustard, like, and so on.
Mrs. White was like a wee old lady. Miss Peacock was like a very extravagant lady. Miss Scarlet was always a very sultry, sexy one. But nowadays, it's just like, right, who's the hip hop artist? Who's the It's just so new. It's so fancier.
Basically, I don't know if we can get that on the camera. Not only do they're all sort of code names, so they've not only got they're still identified as Scarlet, Mustard, and so on, but that's the crest of their house. Generally, look at that.
The crest of their house?
Yeah, look at this. So Scarlet, aka Natalie D'Souza, the Cluedo House of Scarlet, and the Spirited House of Scarlet carries the secrets of fame.
Are you trying to tell me that Cluedo done a Game of Thrones?
They've gone a bit Game of Thronesy, yeah.
Well, saying that, I have seen the Game of Thrones version, which I do want to try out. Purely the fact that I've seen all of Game of Thrones, so I wouldn't mind saying that. But I didn't realize it's done about that one.
I'll ever read some of those.
Peacock, aka Eleanor Hamilton. I'm wondering if she's based and raised in Hamilton.
No.
Probably. The world's most powerful people respect hotspot politician Eleanor. So one's a politician, one is a martial arts expert, beautiful, confident movie star, top lawyer, inventor, Professor Green, Professor Plum. I suppose. And you have the charming and charismatic Tyler with astonishing abilities to make friends, money, and terrible mistakes. And that's supposed to be the Reverend version.
Oh my goodness.
Can you imagine if a Reverend was given that as part of Cluedo? It's like, hello, my name is Reverend Green. By the way, I have an astonishing ability to make friends, money, and make terrible mistakes.
So, keep us over the pieces just a second.
Yeah.
No. Again, I mentioned in the news, the latest update is in the game was made in January 2023 by Hasbro, who's makers of these games, and what they've now done is replace these sort of nondescript tokens with actual miniatures of the characters.
Okay, so I'm sorry, but that's not white. That's just clear.
Yeah, well,
That's really annoyed me now.
sort of white.
It's not white. It's clear. That's actually a token that we use. And also, you your red and whatnot as well. Now, to be fair, do you remember the original Cluedo? Everyone probably remember this. They actually used a real piece of string, a real piece of everything as a proper chunk of a lead pipe in.
Yeah.
Did I do that now? No. In here, they've got this. A plastic piece of rope. Hanged very nicely into a nice little noose thing going on. You see, it was an actual proper string. I remember that.
To be fair, probably Hasbro had a lot of them left over from Buckaroo and they just swap them across, I think.
Although, so now, when it comes to lead pipe, they have gone a little bit more creative because I'm not sure if anyone can see this. It has a tiny little, like a screw top thing coming off here, which means that it must have come from an appliance of some form.
Or they just bent an Allen key and did it that way.
Now, I know that some of these parts in America are named different ones as well. Like the spanner is a wrench, isn't it?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, spanner's a wrench. Dagger's a dagger. Rope's a rope. Lead piping? What is like a version of lead pipe? Just a pipe?
I think that is still lead pipe in the American version.
And candlestick's the candlestick. Yeah, because that's a very, very basic candlestick. I'm not sure everyone see that now. The other candlestick was very ornate and much bigger. You can definitely hit it over your not sister, no relatives. I want this here as well. Hang on, and actually you got the two-sided dice. The two dice, very, very classic indeed.
Like I said. So yeah, as I was mentioning in the news, I've gone back to basics for the American version, as you can see there. So
is that actually just called Clue?
It's called Clue. It's got the original characters in them, but the thing they've updated, and like I say, is the fact that they've updated all the backstories with the murder victim, who's now called generally Bowden Body Black. So Mr. Body's his nickname, which he was called in the original version of the American game.
So his name is Mr. Body, Mr. Bowden Body.
His name's Bowden Black, but he's referred to as Mr. Body.
Oh,
and if it didn't sound already like the Tim Curry version of the film, gives all the players backstories that interact with one Bowden Body Black, who apparently was blackmailing everyone, therefore giving you a reason to want him dead.
Okay, so for those that don't know, they did a movie of during like the 80s, and that basically sounds like they've taken the American version of Clue, their storylines and whatnot, and then put it in with the movie. If you did this version, the UK version on a TV show, they probably have done it. It's probably like a kids' TV drama or something like that.
Well, it wasn't actually a kids' TV drama. It was a game show. It was on ITV in the 90s.
Yeah, but if they did this particular version with all the updated characters, the inventor, the entrepreneur, the inventor, the bloody whatnot.
I suppose.
Oh no, I don't. Do they already have it? Isn't that just called Made in Chelsea?
Well, yeah.
I do like Made in Chelsea. I do apologise for anyone else.
I'm just reading. I just sort of going to the links it says in this sort of Cluedo thing, and the most latest version is of Clue's the Naruto Shippuden version.
Who?
It's a Japanese manga series.
A Japanese manga series?
Yes, it's been developed into the Clue board game.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Clue Naruto Shippuden, apologies if I pronounced that right, a jonin from a neighbouring village has been slain by a mysterious villain, framing the resident ninjas of Hidden Leaf Village, taking the roles of Naruto and his closest friends to prevent a shinobi war by determining who from the Akatsuki is the murderer, what weapon was used, and where they were hiding.
want to feel that you made an actual anime manga of Cluedo or Clue or whatnot. That'd be amazing if they did that. Now, one thing I will show you, well, because you're trying to load that up, is that this is the size of the board game. It is huge. I suppose if there's going to be quite a few of you playing, it needs to be quite big anyways. But look at this. It's got extensions to it. I mean, in the last one, it just had the study, the lounge or living room, the kitchen, the billiards room, and that sort of thing. In here, you've got all sorts. You've got here, hang on, where is it? The bedroom with the ensuite. You also have here the garage, the courtyard. They still have, like, instead of a billiards room, it's a games room, and dining room, kitchen, living room, and study is still there. But there's actually stairs to get into the extension part with the bedroom and ensuite. I'm sorry, but if this is going to keep on carrying on like this, what if they do another version of this and the board would be twice as long because there's going to be outbuildings and turning your garage into a second bedroom. And, oh, by the way, don't forget the doghouse. You wouldn't know what's going to be hiding in there, like a body part or something.
Well, I've come across an online list of the top 15 versions of Cluedo.
Top 15 versions, okay.
Can you pass the water?
Okay. There you go.
Cut that bit. Okay, so
I am top 15 versions. Are we just talking about the actual game itself, or are we talking about
the sort of various versions of Cluedo?
Various versions of Cluedo, okay.
So listed here are the Simpsons edition.
Okay.
The Office edition, that's again the American version.
So, I suppose, okay. Game of Thrones better be on there because, like.
Well, I'll get into that.
Okay.
Oh, here's one for you. The Big Bang Theory edition.
What? Who killed Sheldon?
Well, instead of solving a murder, the detectives must figure out who defiled one of Sheldon's personal belongings and in which location.
Who defiled?
One of Sheldon's personal belongings and in which location. So I'm guessing the three things you need to guess are who it was, what object was defiled, and what location it was.
What rating is that board?
Doesn't say in the listing, but
I'm sorry, but defiled sounds very, very kinky. And I know that Sheldon has this interpreting of words and sarcasm and whatnot, but
anyway,
he who defiled my pencil.
Anyway, moving swiftly on. The Seinfeld edition.
Oh God, okay.
Jerry Kramer, George Elaine, Puddy, and Mr. Peterman. Oh God, I remember him. Scooby-Doo edition. I suppose that's par for the course.
One for the kids.
Yep. The Legend of Zelda edition.
Wow.
It's a collector's edition. It was released in 2017. The same year that Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild was remastered for the Nintendo Switch.
If anyone has actually played any of these different versions of Cluedo, write down your comments after this.
Twilight Zone Tower of Terror edition. The Nightmare Before Christmas edition.
Oh, as in like the Tim Burton version?
Yes.
So what's the story behind that one?
It sends players on a mission to find out what happened to Sandy Claus.
Oh, okay.
Which kind of makes sense.
Yeah, that does kind of make sense. Okay.
Things I haven't seen. There you go. Your Game of Thrones edition.
Just because when you mentioned about this new one here having like the family shields and clans, bannermen and whatnot, that just screams Game of Thrones to me, and that does make a lot of sense. But what would be the storyline for that one? Would be like who killed the king or queen or?
Pretty much the same as Cluedo, the classic Cluedo. Somebody's been murdered and players must figure out and did it. However, there's a double-sided board so fans can choose to play in the red, keep, or marine.
That would be cool.
And there's 12 suspects, not 6.
Well, I suppose you have to have like one in each household. So you have the Martells, you have the Targaryens, you have my mind has gone blank. Lannister, Starks, that sort of thing. But that actually does sound really cool.
Harry Potter edition, obviously.
Uh,
Everything's been made Harry Potter related.
Exactly. I mean, there's a Harry Potter monopoly out there somewhere.
There's a Haunted Mansion edition.
As in, like, the TV show
As
film.
in the film based in the Disney ride, which isn't the Pirates of the Caribbean, which is obviously a bit more popular.
So it's on the Pirates of the Caribbean. It's the hunt.
Yeah, because remember, both of them were original rides in Disneyland that got made into films. Obviously,
Right.
one became more popular as a franchise than the other one did.
Right. Okay.
And two that you're obviously going to love. The Star Wars edition.
Yes!
Where the goal is to find out which planet Darth Vader plans is going to destroy next.
That sounds cool. That sounds amazing.
And the Golden Girls edition. Where players must figure out who...
Oh.
Wait.
Before you dive into that, the Golden Girls.
Yeah, there's a Golden Girls edition of Cluedo.
I'm actually taken aback here. Oh my lord.
Okay, so
what's
no murder this time. Just players must figure out who ate the last slice of cheesecake. Because obviously, big in the Golden Girls world, what evidence left behind and where the crime occurred in their mansion.
So would their boards be like the house?
Yeah, I'm assuming that's where it is because that's where key suspects are. The 6 suspects are, of course, 4 Golden Girls.
Yeah.
Can you guess the other 2?
Okay, so so the Golden Girls. There's Dorothy, Sophia, Blanche, and Rose.
Yeah.
Stan?
Yes.
Stan is
Dorothy's ex-husband.
Yeah. Who is this? Dreyfus?
Miles.
Oh, so they're going in with Miles, have they? Okay. So Miles becomes Rose's boyfriend / fiance in the last couple of seasons. For those that haven't seen Golden Girls, but no, I really want to try and find that. If anyone knows where we're able to find that, that would be fantastic. Oh my lord! It definitely covers multiple different planes for different scenarios because, like I said, even though it belongs to the Cluedo, in this game, someone has died. Is that someone has either eaten the last cheesecake or has defiled a pencil?
Yeah. So yeah, the other ones of note are the Walking Dead edition, the Supernatural Collector's edition, Firefly.
Firefly?
Yep.
Wow.
The crew of the Serenity needs to discover who's working with the Alliance.
Okay, so of the ones that you've seen there and the ones that you've mentioned, which of those Clue versions would you like to get? Okay, so your choice.
I suppose I'd probably, if it was just me, then I'd probably get the Simpsons one because it's loosely based on the Who Shot Mr. Burns storyline, which I quite liked.
So onto that one, is it?
Yeah, so it's obviously the murder suspects are the five Simpsons, Waylon Smithers, and Mr. Burns.
Okay.
It's the Mr. Body,
Waylon Smithers,
Dr. Black character. So
okay, so like that kind of makes sense. I kind of thought you would go for that one, anyways. I am torn. When you mentioned the Golden Girls, that just flagged me up, and I'm dare I say it, between that Game of Thrones and Star Wars, I want the Golden Girls one. Just the actual thought of it.
Well, I thought you would have gone for Big Bang Theory, to be honest.
No, well, I do like watching Big Bang Theory, but oh no, between Game of Thrones, Star Wars, and Golden Girls, I'm going to go for the Golden Girls. I love the other 2 shows, but just the idea of the concept of having one sounds brilliant.
Right. Okay, well, let's return ourselves to the original for now. So, there's a sort of gameplay guide and the best ways to win Cluedo.
Best ways to win Cluedo?
Yeah, well, good.
It's not as like rock, paper, scissors, and then that's you won.
Well, there's some strategy to it. So,
Well, it's a guessing game, and it's a murder mystery because, like, it does more of you playing. You divvy up all the cards with 3 cards being put into the little pack, which is this one just here.
Yeah.
And the idea is the people playing the characters have to go into the different rooms and determine what 3 cards are in this pack here, who done it, and in which room, and with which weapon.
Yeah.
So there's
So
gonna be much-
one of the big tips is spend as much time in rooms as possible, because
But you can't stay in rooms, can't? No, I am.
you
Oh,
can
oh,
go
oh,
out and
ah.
go. Well, one, you can go out and go back into rooms. 2, if somebody accuses you, then they drag your token to the room that they're accusing you in, and you can
That's
only
true.
accuse. You can only accuse in the room you're in. You can't pick wherever room you like for the accusing. You can pick wherever you like for the weapon of the suspect. So basically, the best way to win is camp in the rooms. And it's not like an online game where everybody hates you for doing that.
Hang on. I wonder if there's a secret passageway.
Yeah, that's the other sort of tip they say. Use the secret passageways because, however many, some of the rooms are very difficult to get to based on the location. But the 4 rooms in the corner have secret passageways, which means you can go from one corner of the board to another as part of your turn. And
although saying that, when it comes to this game, because of the extension to it, I'm sorry, but this is what really annoys me, because in the original one, it had 6 rooms, and that's it.
yeah, 8 actually. The original one has 8 rooms in it.
But there's no extensions.
No, there's no extensions. That's quite right.
So this is my point, because like, if this was like Law and Order, or like a CSI or anything like that, and realize that in the bedroom there's actually a secret passageway to the living room. So if someone says, "Oh, I'm going to bed now," okay, that's fine. And if someone wants to have a cheeky snog and whatnot, they can have a sneak passage through to the bedroom and back again.
Your games of Cluedo were obviously a lot more exciting than mine were. Anyway, the whole point is the secret passages. You can use them, and you don't have to roll the dice, which might just give you a 1, and then you're stuck moving out of the room.
The one thing I do like about these boards is how much detail goes into them. Because, hang on, let me show you the games room for a second. Look at the detail into that. You can actually see like bottles of drinks and glasses off to one side. And then on the reverse, if you actually have a look at the kitchen, there you go. Have a look at the kitchen. Look at the detail. There's the countertops, spilled drinks, gravy, chairs all about the place. That's one thing I do like about this board is the detail into it, which means some people can get into the characters or into the rooms. Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay, this is one question. I think I really know that. I think I may know the answer to, but out of all 6 characters, which is the character that you always pick?
Professor Plum.
Well, straight off the bat, it's always Professor Plum, is it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Where? How come Professor Plum? Well, technically, it's not Professor Plum anymore.
Well, it's Plum or the scientist stroke that character. Now, obviously, there's a school of thought to say you should always try and pick Miss Scarlet if you can, because she goes first. But
well, surely the scenario being is a ladies go first, but there's 3 ladies in Cluedo.
well, no. According to the official rules, Miss Scarlet opens the game and then turns continue clockwise around the table. So,
Why Miss Scarlet?
I didn't know. I didn't make the rules. I'm just going by the official sanctioned rules here.
No, for me, I was always Mrs. White. I was always Mr. White goes first because, like I did, that she was a chef or a cook or anything like that. So yeah, I was pretty boring. I like to pick Mrs. White. Although when I watched the film version of Clue and realized the actress that was playing Mrs. White, I was like, "Yeah, that's fine. I'll do. I'll be Madeline. I am absolutely fine with that."
Just having a look at the official gameplay rules, and yeah, you can move horizontally, vertically, but not diagonally. You're not allowed to enter the same space twice in the same turn. I thought you were allowed to do that.
Do you mean like go out and go back in again?
Oh yeah, maybe that's what they mean.
Yeah, because like again.
Oh no, yes. So you can't just go 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
You have to work your way around. So
I think when it comes to I think each household and each lot have got their own like different set of rules. For example, you can't go back in and out again, but some families may allow that. Or they can go diagonally and whatnot. And it depends really into what each household is like.
Again, one of the rules I've just found out is you may not enter on a space that is already occupied by another player. I did that all the time.
Well, you're just mean. Because so you just go onto them people and then squish them into the segments.
And then they say it is possible that your opponents might block any and all doors and trap you in a room. In that case, you have to wait for someone to move or unblock a door to leave.
How can you?
Because, like you said, so in the older versions, there's only one entrance and exit into a room. So apparently, what you can't do is literally block the door so nobody can get in.
I've never actually heard of that.
Well, it's a good tactic. It's not. I suppose it's not good gamesmanship, but
if you have a big family and all the siblings were playing this, now I blocked you out of that room. You're not coming in, Mom. It's not allowing me into the room. No. You have to let your little brother play. Let him go into the study. No. I don't think I would like to enforce that one because I might just get very, very competitive and very, very angry all the same time. Okay, so rounding things up with Cluedo, it is a classic. There's so many different interpretations of it. You would go, like I said, you would go for like a Simpsons, but what would be fun?
Well, if we're saying like, which interpretation we got? I always go for the original above all else.
I am original or that version.
I mean, proper original.
The proper original version.
Proper characters, proper 9 rooms. I said there was 8. It's actually 9 in the original version.
So I thought it was 6. You're saying it's 8, and then you just said, no, hang on, it's actually 10. No, 9 even.
I just looked up in the sort of original game show. So yeah, there's 9 rooms in the original version before we get a caption being put by our editor saying a little bit wrong. So yeah, we knew it's 9 rooms, Andrew. Okay, all right.
Right. Okay. So
yeah, I'm a traditionalist with it. I definitely go for the original version with the proper titles: Professor, Plum, Colonel, Mustard, and so on.
Okay. I think I would like to try the Golden Girls version just because of the novelty of it. But I think I might go with you. I think I might stick to the original Cluedo classic. But I'm willing to try different ones, different versions.
That sounds good.
Now, one question I want to ask you, since what classifies to you a board game? I mean, what is the definition of a board game, and what does it need to have?
Well, I suppose. Well, I mean, the obvious answer is a board. So
now, this is what I figured out, and it has been driving me a little bit nuts. That certain card games, certain like brands and whatnot, they're actually classing themselves as board games. So when it's a board game, not a board game, when it's a card game. Let me explain. So a card game isn't labeled under a board game unless it should have a usage of a board game involved. Like, for example, in Cluedo, there's a few cards there, but predominantly you use the board to put your pieces about and use the cards to help out. Yeah? Now, according to BoardGameGeek.com, board game uses cards as its sole component. There are standalone card games in which all cards necessary for gameplay are all person ones. To be fair, most of these games are also collectible card games. You're able to get expansion packs, starter packs, in an effort to get a more powerful deck of cards.
So, for example, Uno would be a card game, not a board game.
But if you say you go into a shop, like a general toy shop and whatnot, and you go into the board game section, you get all the card games there. I says, well, hang on, technically that's a card game rather than a board game. Because it's the whole general genre of it, it just gets thrown in there. Now, for those that are predominantly card games, now there are some card games that I want to try out, and I did have a look at a few of them recently, and one of them is Arkham Horror, the card game.
Oh, okay.
It's basically one of these things that you basically
one of these choose your own story type things.
Essentially, yes. There's a lot of different starter packs and expansion packs with them. Another one is Seven Wonders Duel, where essentially you are impersonating or taking over the role of like a commander in like a battle one, a very famous battle. So let's say I'm Napoleon in Waterloo. You could be Caesar in the Roman Empire and it's basically trying to battle out the armies and whatnot.
Yeah, but surely that's more like Risk or something like that.
Yeah, but like that's what I mean. See, Risk, it's a board game.
Yeah. Well, that's got boards. That's good.
This is the card game.
I think it's very difficult to distinguish between a board game that predominantly uses cards and
Exactly.
a card game that has a board.
Yeah. So one thing I'm going to come up is, what would you label top trumps?
That's definitely a card game because you don't need
exactly
a board to play it.
Exactly. Top trumps is an actual card game. There's different packs. There's certain environment. I used to work in a toy shop, and there was this huge top trump stand, and it had everything on it, from cities to cars. It had gimmicks like the Lego, Star Wars. And then it had animals, pets, bugs, that sort of thing. But in the actual umbrella of top trumps, it's still labeled as a board game.
That's interesting.
How does that work? You don't. In all the card games that you use, like I know that most games you use like an actual board, and with that board you've got multiple different selection of cards, like Arkham Horror, the card game, like Seven Jewels and whatnot. So it is predominantly a card game, and you use a small board to help you out. But Top Trumps, why is that? Why is that classified as a board game?
Okay.
That just really truly. Annoyed me. Annoys me. Now, we actually own a pack of Uno cards, don't we?
Yes, we do.
And I actually investigated the actual pack of it because, unfortunately, it's one of these things that it is sold in shops under the umbrella of a board game. When you actually look onto it, it predominantly says a card game, which is brilliant because I spoke to a friend about this the other day, and he says that, hang on, surely that's a board game. It's like, no, because there's no board. So when is a board game not a board game when it was predominantly a card game?
I think, but you have to be a bit careful with the labels for some of these things because card game sort of implies things like sort of blackjack or poker, so it has a sort of second meaning that card games have meant to mean games of chance and games of gambling.
Yeah, so
board games don't really have that element. So I think I think it could be said that labeling things like that for board games is probably saying that usually this is just played by kids for fun rather than by adults for profit.
And to be fair, like if you were to buy a pack of cards, it's normally labeled a pack of cards.
Yes.
It doesn't actually say this is a card game because you can play different games with a pack of cards like solitaire, royal pontoon, goldfish, poker, that sort of thing. And that I do appreciate is that it's a pack of cards. You from that pack of cards you play multiple different games. And it's just very frustrating sometimes. Sorry, that's my grief for today, so I do apologise.
Well, we'll be back with more of when's a board game, not a board game next time.
I'm going to be rattling through quite a few there. But still, there's a few card games I wouldn't mind trying out like that list I just mentioned. There's even one called Underwater Cities. And it's basically just like you creating and building up your own cities and whatnot. And that felt quite interesting.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's my little rant for today. Sorry.
Okay, well.
There is a few more stuff that we can go through, but that can be done at our next podcast.
Speaking of which,
what's going to happen next time?
Well, we'll be maybe delving into the use of travel games. Not saying too much, but we might have a little special treat for you coming up.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Thanks for reminding me.
So, look forward to that. Again, we'll be delving into another one of our favourite board games, telling you all about it. And
we need to try and actually we need to try and find a board game and actually properly study it, and then talk to you about it next time. Cluedo is a game that we've always played in the past, so it was very easy to talk about. Although I'm sorry, they all
let the board go.
That person is
Stop.
fine.
Okay. keep subscribing to the Ginger Games Board and all of Ginger Media Limited's fine podcasts. You can find links in the descriptions and below.
A news and one that's going to be popping up over the next couple of weeks into the next month. We'll try and let you know within the next couple of podcasts. But in the meantime, this is Debbie.
This is Chris.
And have a fantastic day. Okay, bye.
Bye.